Hey everyone! Hi, it's Emma Vigling with TYT Politics. Hope everyone's having a great day and afternoon. Just a reminder, go check out Jordan's Standing Rock videos. He really has some impeccable videos up, especially his interview with the journalist who's being completely criminalized for actually doing her job at Standing Rock. So go check those out, and his East Chicago led videos. I just wanted to quickly plug those because they're extremely powerful. So I have a kind of different story for you guys. I know I've been talking a lot about Donald Trump because the Republicans are in power and Trump is the president, and that's a very important story and probably the most important story in the country right now. But the revolving door is something that we at TYT care about immensely, and it's actually part of the reason Jordan hired me. I wrote about the revolving door in my cover letter, and he's talked to me about that. So let's talk about the revolving door. So I guess 2017 hasn't been that good of a year for Uber. They've had a lot of controversies, even though their net worth is estimated to be around $25 billion, and they're an immensely successful company. First, there was the Delete Uber campaign after the CEO, Travis Kalanick, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, joined Trump's Economic Council. That movement got pretty heated when Uber chose to lower its prices during the taxi strike at JFK after the Muslim ban. So there were a lot of controversies surrounding that, and then people started deleting Uber and adding Lyft, which is their competitor. And then there was a time when a top executive at their company, Emil Michael, their senior vice president of business, suggested spending $1 million to hire 4 top opposition researchers and 4 journalists to help Uber fight back against the press and look into the press's personal lives and families to give the media a taste of their own medicine. So by all accounts, Uber's a little bit of a shady company, and now a former Uber engineer, Susan Fowler-Rigetti, posted a blog post detailing the sexual harassment that she faced at the company. This is from NPR. On her first day working on her new team at Uber, Rigetti says her manager sent her a string of messages propositioning her on the company chat. She says she took screenshots of the conversations and brought them to Uber's HR department, saying she expected the matter would be handled quickly and appropriately. From her account, it was not. Rigetti writes that she was told her manager was a high performer and this was his first offense, but she said that she heard later from other women at the company that they had complained about the same employer. So obviously, because Rigetti chose to make this fairly public, Uber chose to conduct an independent investigation. Let's see how independent this really is. I'm sure you guys know where this is going. They hired someone pretty famous and high up. If you can read and can read the title, you're gonna know who it is. Uber is bringing on former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder to conduct an independent review of sexual harassment claims made by a former employee. I believe in creating a workplace where a deep sense of justice underpins everything we do, Uber CEO Travis Kalanick wrote in a memo to the staff obtained by The Hill. ABC News first reported on Holder's hiring. What is driving me through all of this is a determination that we will take what's happening as an opportunity to heal wounds of the past and set a new standard for justice in the workplace, Kalanick said in the memo. La-di-da. Uber is hiring Holder and Tammy Alberin, another partner from the law firm Covington and Burling, to spearhead the investigation. Ariana Huffington, an Uber board member, is also taking part in the review. Isn't that interesting? So I can tell you from personal anecdotes, and just to be completely upfront with you guys, my mom used to work at Covington and Burling at that firm. I know from, my mom knows Eric Holder. I know personally that firm is kind of a stalwart for Democratic establishment figures. A lot of Democratic establishment people work there. And it didn't surprise me to see the name Covington and Burling in this report. But you might say, Emma, Kalanick, the CEO, worked with Trump. He doesn't like Democrats. So maybe he must have hired Holder because he's a great investigator. That may be true. Holder may be a great investigator, although he didn't prosecute the banks. Cough, cough. But curiously, there is another former Obama employee high up in the Uber staff. David Plouffe, the senior advisor to President Obama, was appointed as the senior vice president of policy and strategy for Uber in 2014. In May 2015, he left that role to become a full-time strategic advisor for Uber. So you think that this guy had something to do with bringing Eric Holder on? I don't know how independent that investigation sounds to me. So it's not that David Plouffe is especially corrupt. And it's not that Eric Holder is especially corrupt. It's that this is the system. It's a corporatocracy where people who used to work in government, as soon as they leave government, get their real payoff in private companies. How Arianna Huffington, by the way, is involved in this is beyond me. But it's the Democratic elite that Bernie Sanders constantly talks about that we have to purge the party of. You know, Eric Holder and David Plouffe. Again, this is nothing personal, but this is a microcosm of how the game is played. So I wanted to bring this to your guys' attention just because, you know, Eric Holder is going to get hired again through Covington, and he's going to get hired by another corporate company to do some independent investigation, because when he was on the other side, he wasn't too hard on corporations. You don't get hired in this revolving door if you were kind to the corporations beforehand, when you were on the other side of the aisle, when you were in government. So it incentivizes people to not be tough on them, because then they get the big payoffs once they leave. And that's why the revolving door is an important story. Again, nothing personal, but this is something that we should all be keeping in mind. And Uber, clean up your act. Jeez. Lyft seems like the way to go. All right. Have a great day, my friends.